Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we travel beyond ordinary stories into a world of ancient myths where gods shaped the skies and legends breathed life. This is the story of Zeus, the god of thunder, a figure both mighty and timeless. His presence shines across history, his voice echoing through the ages like rolling storm clouds. Picture the heavens, endless and bright, dressed in silver clouds. Imagine a mountain so tall it touches the sky. Its peak glows with golden light. This is Mount Olympus, home of the gods. At its heart stands Zeus. His eyes spark like lightning. His voice rumbles like thunder. Yet behind his power, he carries wisdom, justice, and the promise of balance. Zeus is not only a god of storms, he is a guardian, a guide, a ruler who watches over both gods and mortals. His story is more than thunder. It is about order and harmony. In this episode, we uncover Zeus not as a distant figure of fear, but as a symbol of unity and light. His myth still speaks across time, across cultures, to each of us today. So lean back. Let the rhythm of this tale carry you. Step into the clouds, the storms, the legends. Welcome to the timeless story of Zeus, the god of thunder. Long ago, in a time before Olympus rose in glory, there lived Cronus, a mighty ruler among the Titans. He feared a prophecy. A voice had warned him that one day one of his own children would surpass him. Cronus sought to stop destiny. Each time a child was born, he hid them away, fearing their rise. But Rhea, his wife, longed for hope. She carried within her the spark of a child unlike any other. When her youngest son was born, she looked upon him with love. His name was Zeus. Rhea's heart knew he carried the promise of change. She refused to see him trapped by fear. So, with courage and care, she placed her newborn in secret hands. The earth itself seemed to protect him, whispering through the caves and cradling him in shadows. There, away from Cronus's gaze, the infant Zeus grew strong and bright. His cries echoed like distant thunder. His spirit carried the spark of the skies. This child, hidden in silence, was destined to become the god of thunder. Far from Cronus's reach, Rhea carried her infant son to Crete, where mountains touched the sky and the sea whispered against rocky shores. A cave lay hidden among cliffs and groves. Its entrance was veiled by shadows. Its silence guarded the secret of the newborn child. The cave was alive with memory. Streams trickled softly, stones glimmered like tiny stars, and the air sang with a calm, timeless rhythm. Here, Zeus found safety. It became his cradle, his sanctuary, the first home of the child destined to rule the heavens. Amalthea, the gentle goat, nourished him. Her milk gave him strength. Her warmth gave him comfort. Her care gave him love. The Curetes stood guard. They clashed shields in rhythmic dance, drowning out his cries so Cronus would never hear. Their circle was not born of violence, but of devotion. They shielded him with courage, silence, and loyalty. Zeus grew day by day. His laughter echoed like thunder in the cave. His hands reached for beams of light streaming through cracks in stone. Birds sang at the cave's mouth. Olive trees swayed outside. At night, stars gathered above, as if watching over him. The nymphs of Crete came with joy. They sang lullabies, cradled him in their arms, and crowned him with flowers. For them, he was not only prophecy, but hope, a reminder that light always returns. Even when shadow lingers, Cronus believed destiny silenced. But in the cave, a different truth lived. Zeus was becoming more than a child. He was becoming balance itself. Storms rolled outside. Zeus laughed, as if he knew their song. Lightning flashed. His eyes sparkled, mirroring the fire of the skies. Time flowed gently. Days became years. Zeus grew stronger, but also kind, shaped not by fear, but by love and care. The cave was not a prison, but a cradle of destiny. In its shadows, Zeus found strength, balance, and compassion. One day, he would leave Crete. He would rise to Olympus, but the memory of this sanctuary would live in him forever. In the hidden cave, a child became more than protected. He was loved, and with love, he carried the power to bring harmony to heaven and earth. As years passed in the cave of Crete, Zeus left behind the fragile days of infancy and began to awaken into a young god. His laughter echoed like rolling thunder, filling the cavern with sound. Even his footsteps stirred the air, as if nature moved with him. The animals sensed his spark. Birds circled above, goats followed at his side, and the winds shifted gently whenever he stepped outside. The cave was his sanctuary, but also his classroom. The earth, the sea, and the sky taught him lessons in silence and patience. He watched rivers carve through stone, storms gather over mountains, and stars burn brightly in the night sky. Each lesson stayed with him. Zeus asked questions. Why do clouds form? Why does rain fall? Why do stars shine? Every answer became a treasure in his young mind. The Curetes, once protectors, became his teachers. Their shield dance taught him rhythm, precision, and the harmony of strength and unity. When Amalthea grew weary, he cared for her. From her, he had received warmth and milk. From him, she received gratitude and love. The skies drew him most of all. He sat at the cave's mouth, gazing at shifting clouds and flashes of lightning with wide, knowing eyes. In storms, he felt connection. Lightning stirred something inside him, as though the heavens whispered, "One day, you will be their master." A voice within told him he was meant for more than shadows. He would not remain hidden forever. His destiny waited in the open sky. The nymphs noticed his confidence. They whispered he was no ordinary child, but a leader, a spirit who united all around him. Though young, he sensed responsibility. The earth itself seemed to carry a secret, reminding him his life was tied to something greater. Patience from rivers, strength from mountains, kindness from his caretakers, and wisdom from the stars. These shaped the soul of Zeus. The boy who laughed with storms grew into a youth who heard the call of destiny. His awakening had quietly begun. As Zeus grew strong, the time came for him to leave the shadows of Crete. The world outside was vast, alive, and waiting for him to take his place within it. The Cyclopes awaited him, ancient giants of craft and fire. Their blazing single eyes held wisdom. Their hands shaped wonders from stone and flame. They had once been bound in darkness, longing for freedom. Zeus, with courage, had given them release. In gratitude, they vowed to offer him a gift of destiny. They led him to their forge. The air trembled with heat. Sparks danced in the dark like fireflies. Hammers struck iron with thunderous rhythm. From stone and flame, they shaped the thunderbolt, a spark of the heavens captured in form. Its brilliance rivaled the sun. Its voice echoed like storms. The thunderbolt was not only power, it was meaning, a sign of justice, a promise of order, a reminder that strength must walk hand in hand with fairness. When Zeus held it, the air shifted. Clouds gathered in celebration. Lightning rippled across the sky. Thunder answered with a steady, deep voice. He felt its weight, not the weight of a weapon, but of responsibility. It was the voice of the heavens, entrusted to one who would guide, not destroy. Legends say he raised it high, and rain began to fall. Gentle rain, blessing the land, feeding the soil, shimmering upon trees. A promise, not a threat. From that day, the thunderbolt never left him. Mortals looked to its flash with awe. God saw in it the crown of a ruler chosen by justice. For Zeus, it was a companion, a spark of heaven reminding him of balance, of duty, of the harmony he must protect. The gift marked his becoming. No longer a hidden child of prophecy, he now stepped into the path of a ruler, a leader of Olympus. With thunder in his grasp and lightning in his heart, Zeus had awakened. The god of thunder had found his voice. With the thunderbolt in his hand, Zeus no longer felt like the hidden child of prophecy. The sky itself seemed to call to him, and its call carried a name: Olympus. Mount Olympus was no ordinary mountain. Its peak vanished into clouds, crowned with mist and light. Mortals whispered it touched the heavens. Gods awaited its true ruler. For Zeus, Olympus was more than rock and snow. It was a throne, a gathering place for gods, a home of order. His journey was no longer hiding, but stepping forward. At the cave's mouth, the winds urged him on. The earth beneath guided his steps. Lightning lit the sky above, not in anger, but in promise. The time had come. He turned to Amalthea, to the nymphs, to the Curetes. They had given him care, love, and safety. He carried their gifts in his heart as he left. With thunder in hand, Zeus walked across valleys, rivers, and forests. The world greeted him as its future ruler. Eagles soared, winds cleared, and the ground hummed beneath him. The climb to Olympus was steep and veiled in mist. Mortals had failed before him, but for Zeus, it was not a trial of body, but of spirit. Step by step, the weight of destiny pressed harder. Yet his resolve grew stronger. The higher he rose, the closer the sky came, embracing him with thunder. Clouds gathered as guardians. Rain whispered secrets. Lightning sparked near his hands. He was no longer alone. The heavens themselves walked beside him. At last, Zeus stood at the summit. The world stretched below in silence. Valleys, seas, and forests all lay under a sky that bent toward him. He raised the thunderbolt high. Clouds swirled in a great circle. Lightning danced in honor. Thunder rolled like drums of celebration. Olympus welcomed its future king. But the call was not only glory, it was challenge. Zeus knew trials lay ahead. He would unite allies and face rivals before claiming Olympus as home. Still, he did not falter. The mountain, the storm, and the thunderbolt spoke one truth. He was ready to lead, to unite, to rise as the god of thunder. The hidden child of Crete had answered Olympus. The mountain found its voice in him. The heavens claimed him as their own. At the peak, lightning in his heart and destiny in his eyes, Zeus stood tall. His journey had only just begun. Standing at the peak of Olympus, Zeus knew one truth. No ruler rises alone. A throne without allies is nothing but stone and shadow. The heavens whispered this lesson. Leadership was not command, but unity. Zeus could not shape order alone. He would need others to walk beside him. His heart turned first to his siblings. Born of Cronus, swallowed in fear, hidden in darkness. They waited, longing for release, and Zeus could not forget them. How could he stand free under the open sky while they remained imprisoned? Before he was a king, he must be a brother, but freeing them would take more than strength. It would require cunning, wisdom, and trust. And so Zeus began to seek allies for his cause. Oceanus, the great river Titan, offered counsel. He valued balance over war and gave Zeus guidance, his wisdom flowing as endless as his waters. Metis, the Titaness of clever mind, came next. She taught Zeus that victory was timing and patience, not only power. Her foresight sharpened his resolve. The Cyclopes stood with him, their loyalty unshaken. Already they had given him the thunderbolt, and now they promised more wonders forged in fire. The Hecaton chairs, the 100-handed giants, answered too. Once feared for their form, they longed for freedom and purpose. Zeus saw strength, not terror, in them. Voices gathered around him, not kneeling as servants, but standing as allies. Zeus did not demand obedience, he inspired loyalty. Together they spoke of Cronus. The Titan king had swallowed his children to escape prophecy. To free them, Zeus would need cunning and courage. The task was perilous. Yet with allies at his side, the impossible began to feel within reach. Hope sparked like lightning in the storm. Doubt lingered. Could he truly rise against Cronus? Could he outwit the father who devoured his kin? The winds whispered yes. The thunder answered yes. Zeus felt the weight of trust upon him, yet he welcomed it. In their trust, he found strength. In strength, he found hope. And so the gathering grew. From sea and sky, from caves and shadow, allies came. Not as tools, but as partners in destiny. Zeus had answered the call of Olympus, and now Olympus echoed back. Soon chains of darkness would break. Soon his siblings would walk free. At the heart of it all stood Zeus, no longer just a child of prophecy, but the leader who would shape the fate of gods. The mountain of Olympus gave Zeus strength, and the gathering of allies gave him hope. Yet the shadow of Cronus still ruled the world. Cronus's power was vast. His fear of prophecy had driven him to consume his own children. As long as he reigned, Zeus's siblings remained lost in darkness. Zeus could not ignore this truth. His destiny was bound to theirs. A leader could not stand free while his brothers and sisters were imprisoned. So the time came to shape a plan. A daring design to challenge the ruler of the cosmos, to undo what Cronus had done. In a hidden glade, the allies gathered. The air was heavy with expectation. Each heart knew this plan could change the course of creation itself. Zeus stood before them, thunderbolt faintly glowing. "Cronus rules with fear," he said. "But fear cannot last forever. Balance must return." His voice carried like fire. The Cyclopes nodded. The Hecaton chairs shifted. Oceanus lowered his gaze. Metis leaned forward with calm wisdom. It was Metis who spoke first. "Cronus is cunning. Strength alone will not defeat him. To free your siblings, you must trick him." Zeus listened. He knew her words were true. Cronus had ruled with calculation. Wisdom must match strength if justice was to prevail. Metis continued. "There are roots and herbs hidden in the earth. With them, we can craft a draft that even a titan cannot resist." She explained, "If he drinks, the spell will break. He will undo his own crime. Your siblings will return to the light of the world." The glade fell silent. The plan was simple in form, immense in risk. To approach Cronus was to invite danger itself. The Cyclopes stepped forward. "Bring the drink," they said. "We will be ready with the storm. The thunderbolt is yours, but we will forge more." The Hecaton chairs rumbled. "We will shield you. 100 arms will guard against his wrath. No strike shall fall while we stand." Oceanus raised his hand like a tide. "If Cronus stirs the seas in rage, I will hold them calm. My waters will stand with you." Zeus felt their voices join like threads of fate. Hope sparked in the storm of his heart. This was the moment prophecy had promised. "Then it shall be so," he declared. "Metis, you will craft the draft. My allies will guard the path. I will face Cronus." His words lit the glade with resolve. For a heartbeat, the future shimmered Olympus alive. The children free, balance restored. But the task still waited. The night stretched long with whispers of preparation. Metis sought herbs kissed by moonlight. The Cyclopes forged chains of lightning. Sparks leapt from their hands as fire met iron. Power hummed in the silence of the forge. The Hecaton chairs stood as sentinels, countless eyes scanning the dark. They would allow no titan's gaze to fall upon the glade. And Zeus walked alone beneath the stars. His thunderbolt hummed. His heart carried the weight of destiny, yet he did not falter. Cronus was still a titan, vast and terrible. But Zeus held something greater: unity, trust, and the courage of allies. At dawn, when the first light touched Olympus, Zeus returned to his circle. The draft was ready. The storm was waiting. The time to challenge Cronus had come. The plan was set, and dawn broke across the sky like a promise. For too long, Cronus's children had been trapped in darkness. Zeus walked forward without hesitation. Destiny waited. Around him, allies hid in shadow, ready to act, ready to protect. Cronus sat upon his throne, vast as a mountain. His eyes narrowed at Zeus. Pride flickered. Suspicion lingered. "You come before me," Cronus said. "Do you seek to challenge your father?" His voice was deep as the earth. Zeus bowed slightly, his thunderbolt hidden. "I bring not challenge, but offering," he said. "A gift to honor your reign." In his hand was Metis's draft, shimmering like dawn on water. Roots, herbs, and moonlight had woven it into destiny's drink. Cronus reached for it. To refuse would be weakness, and weakness was a language he did not speak. He drank. The sky trembled. The air shifted. Cronus staggered. From deep within him came muffled voices, aching, but alive. One by one, they emerged. Hestia, keeper of the hearth. Demeter, gentle hand of harvest. Hera, regal and fierce. Hades stepped forth, eyes shadowed with quiet strength. Poseidon rose after, sea power surging in his breath. At last, the youngest sibling blinked at the brilliance of the sky, tasting freedom for the first time. The glade filled with light. Joy erupted as brothers and sisters stood together, no longer hidden, no longer consumed by fear. Cronus roared, but thunder answered louder. The Cyclopes forged storms. The Hecatoncheires shielded the freed gods. Oceanus calmed the seas. Allies stood firm. Zeus held his thunderbolt, yet did not strike. His victory was not vengeance, it was liberation. Unity fulfilled the prophecy, not destruction. The siblings turned to him, eyes bright with gratitude. In their gaze, Zeus was no longer just a brother. He was leader. Together they stood, 6 freed from fear, bound by freedom. Olympus awaited, not as a throne of one, but of many. The storm faded. Silence came. New voices rose in harmony. The children of Cronus were free. And so, the age of the Olympians had begun. The air still carried the echo of freedom. Cronus's children now stood together beneath the open sky, their chains of fear broken, their spirits alive. But freedom was only the beginning of their journey. The age of Titans was fading, and the age of Olympians was rising. Zeus stood at the center, his thunderbolt glowing with quiet strength. Around him gathered his siblings, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. Each had endured the darkness, yet their eyes now burned with fire. They looked to Zeus, not as a master, but as a guide. Each sibling carried a gift, a strength, a domain that belonged to all. Together, they would shape the order of the cosmos. Hestia spoke first, her voice warm as the flame of the hearth. Let us build a place not of fear, but of family. Demeter brushed the soil with her hands. The earth must flourish again. Life must grow under care, not fear. Hera's gaze was sharp, her tone regal. Order must be kept. Justice must stand. Bonds must be honored. Hades spoke quietly, steady as stone. Not all can dwell in light. I will watch over the shadows. Poseidon's voice rolled like waves across the sea. The waters are wild and deep. They shall be mine to guard. Finally, Zeus raised his hand to the sky. The storm, the rain, the lightning they will protect, not destroy. One by one, they claimed their realms with calm resolve. The world began to take shape under their care. They were no longer children of fear, but keepers of balance. Their eyes turned upward to the towering mountain peaks. There stood Olympus, crowned with light, untouched by shadow. Here we will build our home, Zeus declared. Not for one, but for all. A beacon to the world. The siblings agreed, and the rise of Olympus began. Stone shaped itself into halls that gleamed with divine light. Hestia's fire burned at the heart of the hall. Demeter's fields of golden grain spread across the slopes. Hera's voice promised order and law within the chambers. Hades carved deep places beneath for souls to find rest. Poseidon's waters flowed into rivers that nourished the land. Zeus raised his throne of storm, lightning crowning the peak. Olympus was more than a home. It was a promise. A place where gods would walk and mortals would see hope in the sky. The dawn rose upon Olympus, blessing the new age. The siblings stood together, voices carried by the wind. They were no longer prisoners of Cronus's fear. They were rulers of a world reborn. The mountain became the heart of eternity. The rise of Olympus had begun. The halls of Olympus shone with light, but destiny was not complete. The Olympians had found their place, yet their strength was not whole. Something greater was still needed to shape the balance of the world. From the depths emerged the Cyclopes, the great one-eyed smiths of legend. Cronus had once cast them into shadows, fearing their skill and power, but Zeus freed them, and gratitude burned brightly in their hearts. Great Zeus, they said, you gave us light once more. In return, we shall craft gifts worthy of the gods. The forges blazed. Metal sang like thunder. Sparks danced like stars. The mountain trembled with the rhythm of their hammers. First, they turned to Zeus, the leader of a new age. They shaped raw storm into a thunderbolt, sharp as justice, bright as dawn. This is yours, they said. Guard the world with it, not destroy. The thunderbolt pulsed with power, and the heavens answered. Next, they approached Poseidon, lord of the seas. They gave him a trident, carved from earth's bones and cooled in oceans. With this, you command the waves, they told him. The seas will rise and fall at your word. Rule them with care. Poseidon lifted the trident, and the waters roared in reply. Then they turned to Hades, keeper of shadows. They forged a helm, dark as midnight, woven with silence. This helm will make you unseen, they whispered. No wall shall bar you. No eye shall follow you. Hades placed it on his brow, vanishing like mist. Only his quiet voice assured them he was still near. For Hestia, they gave an eternal flame that never fades. This fire will burn wherever home and family are kept. To Demeter, they gave a horn filled with endless grain. The earth shall answer to your care, and hunger will fall. To Hera, they gave a golden diadem, radiant with dignity. You are guardian of bonds, they said. Let this crown remind all. Each sibling received their gift. Each strength recognized. They were no longer freed children, but true guardians of the world. The Cyclopes stepped back, their work complete. The forge quieted, the sparks faded, but the gifts endured. Zeus lifted the thunderbolt high, and lightning crowned the sky. Poseidon's trident gleamed. Hades' helm shimmered in shadow. Hestia's fire warmed the halls. Demeter's grain filled the earth. Hera's crown shone with justice, eternal and unbroken. The Olympians stood as stewards of creation, bound by purpose. The Cyclopes bowed. The world is yours to guide. Use these gifts well, for they belong to all who live. The Olympians gave thanks, their voices strong and united. Olympus rang with harmony, a promise to gods and mortals alike. The forge of the Cyclopes became legend, their creations eternal. Olympus stood tall, its halls glowing with divine light. The thunderbolt, the trident, and the helm shone as eternal symbols. Mortals gazed upward with awe. The world seemed at peace. But peace stirs envy in hidden hearts. From the blood of the earth, the giants rose in fury. Born of soil and shadow, they were immense and powerful. Not mortal, not titan, something in between. The giants watched Olympus rise and burned with resentment. Why should Cronus's children rule? They asked. The earth gave us life. Should we not reign instead? Their whispers grew bold, and their footsteps shook the land. Mountains trembled, forests bent, rivers shivered. From the edges of the world, the giants gathered. Zeus saw their coming, clouds swirling in warning. Prophecy had spoken. They would rise, but not prevail. The Olympians gathered in council, hearts united. Hera's voice was steady. They seek our throne in envy. Let us answer with strength, not destruction. Poseidon's tone echoed waves. Together we must stand. Hades spoke softly. They cannot fall easily, but in shadow they stumble. Demeter felt the restless earth beneath her hands. The land gave them birth, but balance is lost. Hestia's flame flickered warmly. We stand for harmony. If our hearts remain one, fury cannot undo us. Zeus lifted his thunderbolt, eyes fixed on the sky. We meet them not in wrath, but in justice. The giants arrived. Their footsteps thunder. Their voices shook valleys. Their eyes blazed. They carried boulders and trees, daring Olympus. But the gods descended together, a chorus of unity. The world shook as sea met soil and storm. Poseidon's trident stirred oceans to slow their march. Hades moved unseen, weaving confusion like mist. Hera's voice commanded order, steady as law. Demeter steadied the trembling earth, keeping balance. Hestia's fire blazed, reminding all of home and hope. Zeus struck the sky with lightning, bright and just. The giants fought fiercely, towering and wild. But they lacked one thing, love to bind them. They stood beside one another, but not for one another. At last, the storm quieted. Weary, the giants withdrew to the edges of the earth. Their envy left them hollow, their challenge undone. Olympus still stood, unbroken, untrembled. The gods returned, hearts steady and sure. No crown was seized, no throne stolen. Their true power was not in weapons, but in unity. Zeus spoke with thunder's calm after rain. Olympus's strength is not might, but harmony. The world listened. The giants became echoes of envy, fading reminders. Power without purpose falters, but the rule of Olympus endured, brighter than before. High on Mount Olympus, the air shimmered with calm brilliance. The storm had passed, the roar of the giants faded, and silence embraced the peaks. Zeus stood tall, the thunderbolt glowing softly in his hand, no longer fierce. Around him, his siblings gathered: Hera, Poseidon, Hades, Demeter, and Hestia. They were not only rulers now, but a family bound by trial and unity. The heavens rejoiced, clouds parted, sunlight spilled across the earth. A rainbow stretched from Olympus to the mortal lands below. For the first time, the world felt steady, balanced between sky, sea, and soil. Zeus raised his voice. Olympus stands not by might, but by harmony. Together we endured. Together we will guide. His words echoed across the peaks, carried by winds to every corner. Poseidon touched his trident to the seas, calming their waves. The oceans no longer raged, but danced in rhythm with the sky. Fishermen gazed at the waters and felt hope in their hearts. Hades returned below, no longer feared, but keeper of quiet balance. His realm became a place of peace, where the circle of life endured. Demeter touched the soil, and fields of grain and flowers blossomed. She reminded mortals that life always renews after storms. Hera stood as a symbol of loyalty, order, and wisdom. Her presence became the steady flame of honor among gods and mortals. Hestia lit her fire at the heart of Olympus, eternal and warm. It became a beacon of home, shelter, and peace for all. The Titans were no longer feared, only remembered as lessons. Power without unity falters. Power without love fades away. Zeus turned to his siblings, his tone gentle. The throne is not mine alone. Olympus belongs to us all. To rule is not to conquer, but to guide. This is our triumph, the promise we keep to the world. And so the gods took their places, not as tyrants, but as stewards. Each watched over their realm with care, weaving balance and wisdom. Mortals looked to the heavens and saw guardians, not distant rulers. Rain blessed their harvests. Seas carried them safely. Fires warmed their homes. Even in silence, Olympus was felt a bond between gods and mortals. Zeus's true triumph was not thunder or crowns. It was peace, light, and unity that could not be broken. As stars filled the sky, Olympus shone radiant. It became a beacon of hope, the heart of a balanced world. The tale of Zeus was not endless storms, but calm after them. His legacy was not only power, but wisdom to use it well. The world turned, the seasons changed. Olympus remained eternal. The final triumph was not an end, but the beginning of peace.